If I told you that high heels, today considered exclusively a women's accessory, were actually invented by men, would that surprise you? And not just any men, soldiers. 300 years ago, high heels were worn only by warriors. They were a symbol of power, danger, and elite military skill. This is the fascinating story of how the high-heeled shoe, today worn only by women, first emerged on the battlefield. This story doesn't begin in a palace. It begins on horseback. In the 10th century, Persian soldiers had to deal with a problem every mounted archer faces. How do you fire an arrow accurately while riding at full speed and still stay balanced? The answer was surprisingly simple. They attached a heel to their boots, designed specifically to hook into the stirrup and keep them stable. A soldier on horseback could suddenly rise up, lock his feet, support his body, and fire accurate shots even in the terrifying chaos of battle. This was not a fashion trend. This was survival engineering under the hardest of conditions.
For centuries, no one outside knew this secret. Then, everything changed because of one man with extraordinary ambition. That man was none other than Shah Abbas I, the great Persian king. In the 1600s, he commanded what was considered the world's greatest cavalry force, and he shared a common enemy with Europe, the Ottoman Empire. Shah Abbas did something remarkably clever. He sent envoys to countries across Europe, Russia, Germany, France, Spain, with the goal of forging alliances. And these envoys didn't only bring weapons and precious gifts, they brought their high-heeled boots with them. Europe's leading aristocrats were, in the truest sense of the word, spellbound. The warriors of a cavalry, feared everywhere they went, were walking through the squares, self-assured, powerful, and wearing heeled boots unlike anything Westerners had ever seen. Overnight, a Persia craze swept through European high society. The heel had become the symbol of masculinity. The goal was no longer to ride a horse. The goal was to look as though you could. France's King Louis XIV fell deeply in love with these heeled shoes. He was short in stature, and the heels made him appear taller. He passed a law: only nobility could wear red-heeled shoes. A man seen outside in red heels was immediately recognized as a person of importance. And then things got even more interesting. As ordinary people began copying the trend with cheaper versions of heeled shoes, the true nobility responded by making their heels even higher, 5 inches, 6 inches, until what emerged were impractical, unwieldy shoes that were nearly impossible to stand in. So much so that servants were forced to carry nobles through muddy streets in their arms. The impracticality was never considered a flaw. That was the entire point. If you didn't have to walk through muddy streets in your red-heeled shoes, you were powerful. By the late 1600s, this trend had begun to appear among women as well, partly in an effort to claim for themselves the masculine power that the heeled shoe had come to represent. But fashion is never a stationary thing. As the centuries passed, heeled shoe fashion split in two. Men's fashion moved toward the flat, sturdy, and practical, built for war and work. Women's fashion, meanwhile, climbed higher, grew more ornate, and became ever more refined. By the 18th century, the heeled shoe, once the symbol of powerful, elite Persian warriors, had completely changed its identity. What had been a symbol of masculine military strength had quietly, over time, transformed into a symbol of feminine elegance. And here is something many people are not aware of. That small heel on a modern cowboy boot, it is the contemporary version of that very same 10th century Persian design, built for exactly the same purpose: to stay balanced on horseback, to grip the stirrup securely. So the next time you see a pair of high heels, remember, they were not made for walking on a runway. They came into existence on the battlefield as a military strategy. If you'd like to see more content like this, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.